Welcome to Show Me Something Wrong,
where each episode one of us chooses the movie to watch that the other hasn't seen. The movie is often obscure, usually odd, and always wrong.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Guy, and I have chosen the movie, and it is Blood Brothers, directed by Mike Diana from 1989. Before we get into the movie, I feel like there's a lot to say about the director, Mike Diana.
Yeah.
So, before we get into it, what is your prior knowledge of the man?
I don't know that much about his work. Mm-hmm. I know his name very well. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, I had I still have an older brother. He's like 14 years older, and he's an artist. And I used to go over to his house, and he had filthy underground comics all over the place. There might have been some Mike Diana there, but I don't ever remember reading it. All I remember is like Robert Crumb warping my 8-year-old mind. But I do know Mike Diana as like a very, very fucked up underground comic artist. That's what I primarily know him as.
That's important to mention. So Mike Diana is not a filmmaker primarily. He's a comic book artist, and he is very well known for being the only comic book artist to be convicted of obscenity in America. The American comic book artist, yeah. He's the only person.
Have other people been charged, do you think? Surely.
Well, it's so bizarre because America is, the land of the free. You got the free speech thing, right? So how can you charge an artist based on their art? It doesn't make sense. It goes against their amendments.
Yeah.
So how does that even fucking work? But Mike Diana, through his art, somehow broke the rules of the law. Like, he broke the law. And I don't mean like he broke the law as in he caused an offense.
Yeah.
He broke the system by being charged.
Yeah.
So, Florida, 1992. There was the Gainesville student murders. So, serial killings happening across the county, and the police were out looking for a suspect. They had no leads, but one of the police officers came across these comics by Mike Diana called Boiled Angel. And the ones in particular that caused a lot of stir was issues 7 and 8. And the reason being was there was a lot of kind of themes similar to what's happening with these murders.
Right.
And, like rapes and body mutilations and things I really don't want to say, things with minors involved. So
his comics are fucked.
He was pushing the boundaries, and it was like anything that you would ever consider taboo is in Mike's comics.
Yeah.
And this is going back a long time ago. He was like 20 something in his early 20s, and he was drawing since before that as well. So he was drawing all these fucked up comics, really, really fucked up comics, since he was a teenager. And so he became like prime suspect for these student murders. So the police knocked on his door and demanded these DNA samples and which he provided against his will. And they did the test, and he was cleared. He wasn't the suspect, but they still weren't happy with these comic books that he was making. And eventually, he was charged for what's the word?
Obscenity.
So he got taken to trial, and it was this national sensation. This guy, and he was corrupting the youth, and he was he's a kid himself. He was 25 at the time.
Sure.
But outside the courts, people were burning effigies of him,
really?
And burning comics of him. But also keeping in mind how insane this is, because these comics that he made, he was only distributing them in circles of these kind of underground comics, and he only produced 50 or 60 copies at a time.
Wow.
And it just became this sensational news, which also blew him into the public's eye, which is also probably how he's so famous and well known now. But the judge said he was responsible for the moral breakdown of society. And in the end, he was found guilty and sentenced to 3 years.
Yeah, I find
drawing these fucking comics.
That's insane that he was found guilty.
When you have free speech in America, that makes no sense.
There's a documentary about this, right? I really wanted to see that by Frank
Henenlotter, which is of course Mr. Basket Case, and what else did he do? Frankenhooker.
And my favorite, Brain Damage. You seen that one?
Yeah.
That's a banger.
So, but even the wildest thing about this whole case about him. So he got sentenced to 3 years. He didn't do the whole sentence. He got out on like probation relatively soon after because I think everyone just agreed this is a bit fucked. But the judge banned him from drawing.
What?
Yeah, like and not only that, he wasn't allowed to go near schools. He wasn't allowed to go near minors, and he was banned from drawing, even like in his own home. What? And in one of the things in his sentence was that police would come to his apartment like unannounced at any time of the day and seize any sort of drawings or anything that they may find.
What the fuck?
How fucking nuts is that?
Crazy.
This is a comic book artist we're talking about, a 25-year-old kid. Like, it's fucked, yeah.
Was that like a... So he was sentenced to 3 years, but he kind of got out of...
He got out. He only did like 4 days in actual jail.
Did some community service or something like that.
He got loads of hours of community service. He had to do psych evaluations, which he had to pay for.
Right.
He was banned from going to schools, or going near schools.
Yeah.
Banned from going near minors. Banned from drawing.
So this ban on drawing, is that like... Is that a permanent ban, or...?
I guess at least while he was under probation.
Right. That's insane.
Isn't that insane?
That's
like, and the fact that
totally
police
insane.
could have like legally come into his house at any time, unannounced, and seize anything. So he wasn't allowed to own fucking like drawing equipment.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's like going into a guy who's like shut up a school. You're not allowed to own guns. Like, I get that, but a man who's drawing fucking pictures.
I guess this is like the early 90s, right? So that was something of like a kind of moral panic.
Well,
right? Yeah. I wonder if that had, if it was more like a political kind of thing.
Yeah, he was responsible for the moral breakdown of society and stuff.
That's nuts.
It's just fucking bizarre. So that's and as you mentioned, so this is all like really nicely put together in a fantastic documentary by Frank Henenlotter called Boiled Angels: The Trial of Mike Diana.
I've got to say
which
that.
I highly recommend.
I need to see that.
It's fucking great. So, with that dusted off, spoken about, let's go back 8 years or so when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So, Mike Diana, a teenager here. Yeah. So he was working at a supermarket, and he was going to the local mum and pop store, buying all the horror VHS tapes that we all know and love, and he saved up his money to buy a camcorder, apparently, which his dad was very, very highly supportive of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
He was like, you're going to buy this camera and you're going to take some lovely home videos, son.
Yeah.
But what he ended up doing was shooting his own like homemade horror movies based on all these like 80s splatter films that he had fallen in love with. I think the main film that he's mostly known for is called Baked Baby Jesus. I think it is. That name comes up quite a lot.
That was a bit later, right? Like that's like
yes,
early
it is
90s, whereas this is...
So he made his first film called The Shed, which was done in 87. And then this one called Blood Brothers in 89. And there is a connection there, which I'll go into later. But he had this video camera, and he was like, I just want to make a horror film like the ones I'm renting from my mum and pop video shop. And he kind of just gathered up the local community, gathered up his friends and families, their friends, like the whole kind of thing. Like, hey, you want to be in a movie? Come with me. And he just gathered all these kids.
Yeah.
And when I say kids, he was still a teenager himself, but everyone in this film is a kid. Like
he's the main actor in this, right?
No.
Oh, really?
So the main actor in this is his younger brother.
Oh, fuck. I thought that was him.
He's the guy behind the camera.
Oh, shit. Really?
So he's a few years older. He's the one kind of orchestrating the whole thing from behind the camera, like directing and filming, whilst his brother and his brother's mates are kind of going out and killing people.
Oh, fuck. Okay, because that guy looks exactly like Mike Diana, the main guy in it. So I was like, okay, that's Mike Diana.
Yep.
Wow.
So he had no friends, so he just cast his younger brother and his friends. And there are kids, like, as young as 5 years old, getting murdered in this.
Yeah.
And not just murdered, I mean, brutally fucking annihilated.
I think one thing that's important to talk about, and we'll get into this for sure, but like, I also, you know, when I was a teenager, I made like horror films with my friends and, you know, tried to replicate the movies I liked, but this is way more fucking extreme.
Yeah.
This is fucked to the point that there were some scenes in this where I was genuinely gobsmacked by what I was seeing. And it does have that feeling of like, you know, some kids making a film and it's a bit of fun, but there's like a layer of fucked upness to this that is truly shocking.
100% agree with you. 100%. Because it's like, it's fun. It's like, gather your mates around the room. We're gonna make a fucking gory film. And on one hand, it's so charming because it is, you can just totally tell that it's just like some guy making a passion project and just having a blast doing it. But on the other hand, my God, is this film fucked up.
Oh, man.
So, let's get into it.
Yes.
Blood Brothers, 1989.
I love the way that this film starts is so great. It's just got this like fucked up audio just saying Blood Brothers sort of stuttering over and over.
Blood Brothers.
Blood Brothers.
And then the keyboard is like meow. The whole fucking score is done on like this shitty Casio keyboard.
Oh god, yeah, the score is like, it's kind of perfect for what this is. Like it is like a shitty Casio score, but there's moments where I'm like, man, it actually works really well in its own sort of way. But yeah, we've got like this crazy opening that's kind of moving around this like fucked up abandoned house is what it looks like.
It seems like some kind of like condo, like complex out in Florida. Yeah, like all the buildings are run down, and it kind of just like weaving in and out of the buildings.
Yeah,
like,
all the rooms are like, fuck, there's stuff everywhere. That mental music is playing.
Yeah,
and we get that like. We go into a room and there's the title just written on the wall. Yeah, Blood Brothers, and it's like, that's awesome. It looks so good.
I don't know about you. I mean, I've never been to America. I don't know much about the different states, but this is exactly what I imagine Florida to look like.
Yeah, I gotta say, generally when we watch these, we don't look up anything about, you know, if you're recommending it to me, I won't research it at all. Yeah. But when I was watching it, I'm like, this has to be Florida. Yeah. I'm just going to check. And I checked afterwards. I'm like, yeah, it's Florida.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's exactly... That's the only place in America I've been to.
Oh, really?
I actually went there probably, I guess, a little bit after this was filmed in the 90s. So this is the only America that I have ever seen in person
you
before.
Picked a good one. So yeah, we're going through all these like old abandoned buildings. You see, you got the Blood Brothers written on the wall. It's all just like, there's some guy walking with a handheld cam. And then we get our first fucked up moment, one of many, and it's a fucking dead baby, like wrapped in kind of cloth, like covered in blood, with a syringe stabbed into its head. Yeah. And I mean, as I'm saying this now, I know it sounds fucking horrific, but everyone listening has to understand the cheapness of this film.
It's just a doll.
It's a doll. It's a doll, but it's also it's got that weird, horrible, like gross voyeuristic feel to it, and it doesn't linger on the doll, and because it is like a gross, like Super 8-ish kind of quality, I'm not saying it is shot on Super 8, but it's really fuzzy, so it still looks gross. Yeah, it doesn't look like so clean that you can see all the flaws in the picture.
That's an important point with this whole film, I think, where the imagery is really fucked. It is really cheap, so you're seeing like a doll that's been stabbed in the head, and it's very fake. But you're right, it has like, there's a grime to this where it doesn't really matter how cheap it looks. It's still disturbing.
And then the Blood Brothers approach. We got our entrance. Two fucking awesome dudes.
Big mullets.
Yeah, I think they were like both 12 years old at this point.
So one of them is Mike Deanna's brother. Yeah. And then the other is just some kid. Yeah. That's so funny because, that makes so much sense now, because when I was watching it, I'm like, is that Mike Deanna? Because it looks so much like him. Yeah. But it seemed that he was too young That makes total sense.
Yeah.
That it's his brother. I love their shirts. Also say Blood Brothers on the back. What a great touch.
It's like they got their fucking like crew and their mullets. And it's quite funny because I was trying to think like how can I talk about this and like differentiate the two, because they're both like 12-year-old kids with mullets and they look exactly the same. No one has any names in this film. And anyway, so the two blood brothers, Mike Deanna's little brother and the other one, we'll just call him the other one. So they approach, they go inside the the abandoned building. And they've got the most ridiculously large size bag of cocaine you've ever seen in your life.
Not only that, they've got these giant bags of cocaine, and they've also got these massive mirrors.
Yeah.
Which is just so funny, that idea. So they lay down these massive mirrors on the ground. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. What's happening? And then they line up, they put down these massive lines of coke on these mirrors.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh man, it's so funny, and they're just snorting this coke.
I cannot stress how big these lines of coke are. They're fucking massive.
And loads of them as well. Yeah. It's not just like a few lines, it's like multiple lines on these giant mirrors.
And it's great because it's kind of like, you look at it like, this is what doing drugs looks like to someone who's never done drugs before. Like, like teenage kids, this is what they do. They line it up in a mirror and they put a line, and it's like a fucking kilo of coke. and they're like rubbing their faces in it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good, this opening. Yeah, he's like putting his face in the coke, and then like we start cutting to their wrists.
Oh yeah,
being slit with a razor blade, right? And like when I was watching this, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like slitting their wrists, blood's coming out, and then they put their wrists together like classic Blood Brothers style. Yeah. And then there's the line over the top, Blood Brothers forever, man.
Blood Brothers forever, man.
That's it, they form the pact, don't they?
I love though, for a film that really drives home the Blood Brothers aspect in this opening scenes. We've got the Blood Brothers title, the Blood Brothers shirts, the wrists getting cut, the Blood Brothers lines. Doesn't last too long though, the Blood Brothers connection.
Yeah, that soon goes pretty bad pretty quick, doesn't it? But then that's it. That with all that coke, that starts their drug-fueled killing rampage,
right?
Which is basically this movie. So this movie is two kids' coke-fueled killing spree, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
So then some random kid turns up.
This is my favourite scene.
And he knocks on the door and he's like, hey, I got some good weed, you want to buy it?
He's like, I've got some good weed, I'm selling it for a nickel.
Hey, I got a nice bag of weed for a nickel. Would you like to buy it?
I also love this kid really just looks like a kid. Like, he looks so fucking young, this kid. I don't know how old he is, maybe like 11 or 12 or something.
Oh, he looked younger to me. Yeah.
I love this kid because he's so shit. He's such a bad actor.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's just smiling no matter what's happening in the scene. But the Blood Brothers grab his bag of weed and taste it. And one of them was like, that's fucking parsley. Oh man.
So yeah, they ain't happy. And they're like, oh, you're trying to fucking take us for a ride. So let's fucking kill this guy. And so they like hold him down, grab a hammer, and like smash his hand into oblivion. Just repeatedly smashing his hand with a hammer. And as you said, he's screaming bloody murder. But he's like looking at the camera and like laughing.
That was the thing I really loved in this, and this is the first scene you start to notice that there's so much looking at the camera. And now that you say that it's, Mike Diana behind the camera, it makes so much sense to me now, because he's like obviously like directing it all, and they're sort of, these kids are like looking to him for direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially this kid as he's getting his fingers hammered, and it's like It's quite a good effect,
Oh, I thought
honestly.
it was good, yeah.
It's like cheap, but it's clearly like a kind of fake hand filled with meat or something
Yeah.
getting smashed up. But they just keep having this shot of him screaming while looking at the camera with a little bit of a smile on his face.
And his line, he's just going, my hand! My hand!
My hand! My hand! What have you done to my hand?
And it's great because he's screaming and screaming. And then, as you said, like, he looks, you can tell he looks at Mike Diana, and Mike Diana probably is behind the camera, so like, yeah, more. And he says, my hand, ah! And he's just screaming relentlessly. And they
so
fucking,
good.
like, hammer his hand off.
Yeah.
And, like, throws it at the wall, right? And he's running out, blood dripping everywhere. And what does he do? He fucking drips blood over their mountain of cocaine, which they ain't happy with.
Understandably.
So they spear him to death.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what that utensil was that they used, but they go to the kitchen and grab, it's like a giant pole with a kind of fork on the end of it. And I love the violence in this is very funny because it's very gentle in a way. Like, it's disgusting, but it's also very slowly poking it into people and stuff. Yeah, what a great scene.
That kid was awesome. I bet his parents were not happy that he was on this.
Oh my god, yeah, I was
Because you
thinking
look
that
at like
whole
the
time.
two kids, like they got the mullets. They kind of look like they probably just listened to Metallica for the first time. But then the My Hand kid, he looks like he's kind of a bit more well dressed. He's kind of a bit more groomed, and you probably would think, shit, his parents probably wouldn't be too happy that he was getting his hand smashed off by a bunch of cocaine-fueled kids.
I do think we see that kid again later on.
Oh, really?
In a different role. I could be wrong, but we'll get to that insane scene later on.
Right there. So that's victim number one of their killing spree. Then next scene, they're walking down the street. There's some kid on the bike.
Yeah.
And we get the great line. There's a kid on the bike. Let's go kill him.
Look, there's some kid on his bike. Let's go kill him.
Yeah,
one of them has a fucking pickaxe as well.
They're walking down with, like, one's got a pickaxe, and what is the other one has, like, is it a mallet or something? It's like a hammer, and one's got a pickaxe. They're just sort of strolling down the street, and, see this random kid on the bike, also with a mullet, I think.
Man,
I'm pretty sure he had a
Florida's
mullet too.
mullet central.
But do you know, like, mullets now are back in fashion?
Oh,
right?
I know. How weird is that?
It's nuts. When I went back to Australia in August last year, I was so shocked at. I swear to God, 95% of the teenagers I saw
Seriously?
had massive, filthy mullets.
That's wild.
It's full on, and I've heard it's the same in the UK.
I heard it's a rugby thing.
A rugby thing.
I heard it's something to do with rugby. Like,
Really?
maybe like there's like a rugby player who has it and that kind of kicked it
man.
all off or something. But I don't follow any sports, so I have no idea. But that's what I was told.
That's
But
back
it's
in
wild.
The other one that's back is the mustache, but I think
The mustache.
The mustache.
I think there's more than one. It's not like it's not so defined as the mullet, but
mustaches are back in. But I think that's to do with Top Gun Maverick.
oh right.
Having some cool mows in it. But I've seen like a lot of Americans here with mustaches.
Oh no, there you go.
But yeah, the combo of mullet and mustache, though, that's like sort of the peak, right?
You know what they say? Everything has a 20-year cycle.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But like the mullet of all fucking things, though, like it is an objectively horrendous haircut.
Of all the things that were to come back in style, I would not have put my money on the
It's
mullet.
unbelievable. My nephew, who's like 16,
Yeah.
he wanted to grow a mullet, and my brother was like, "Oh yeah, you can grow a mullet, but you'll be sleeping outside." Oh man, you should get a mullet.
You know what? I was thinking about it.
We should both do it.
Mullet bros.
It would take a while to grow it, I think. It's quite a you know, you have to make an investment in that mullet to get a
Yeah.
nice big long mullet.
It just seems like more effort than it's worth.
By the time you grow it, it'll be out of fashion.
They'd be laughing at me. Yeah, mullets, that's so 2020.
This next scene though, with this kid on the bike, this was the main bit I wanted to talk about.
Okay,
with
you go ahead.
So yeah, basically they approach this kid and they're like, "We want to kill you."
Yeah.
And they chase him into his house, which I think might actually be the same.
I think it's
house
just
that we
another
started
abandoned
the film. Yeah, it's like
condo,
this
isn't it? Yeah.
other horrible-looking abandoned house. And yeah, the kid with the mullet escapes into the house, and they pry open the door with the pickaxe, drag him out, and they're beating him. But it's like very, fake, kind of slow, sort of slow fists moving towards him, beating. Then the kid pulls out a knife. They very quickly overpower him.
That scene when they're beating him up, he has the most girlish screams.
Oh, yeah.
They're insane, aren't they?
I think that on the screams, I think that was a Mike Diana direction. Because did you notice, like, throughout it, whenever anyone's getting killed,
Yeah.
the screams are ridiculous.
They're so high-pitched,
And there's a scene later on with some screaming that is, honestly, I was in absolute hysterics watching a scene later on involving screaming. But yeah, this is like the first of the high-pitched screaming scenes.
And it was great, that transition as well. So they're beating him, and he's screaming like a child.
Yeah, because he is.
Because he is. But then he gets out, pulls out a knife, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Get away, you motherfuckers!" Like he suddenly grows a pair.
But yeah, they very quickly grab him, handcuff him to like a pole, right? Like a light post or something. And this is where it gets so fucked. So before this, yeah, we've had that like baby thing at the start, but it's mostly been kind of silly and like still like, okay, this is teenagers making this, and it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Until this scene.
This scene is wrong.
It's so fucked up. And just properly insane. So they again, very slowly, gently put a pair of pliers into his mouth and gently pull his tongue out and rip his tongue out. That's not the bit that shocked me, them pulling out his tongue. It's what happens next with the tongue. So one of the blood brothers has the tongue, starts licking the tongue, which is, a motif that we'll see over and over in this sort of licking, like
Bodily parts. Yeah.
And that, I'm like, fuck, that is messed up. What the fuck? Then it gets worse.
Oh.
Then he gets the tongue that he's ripped out and starts dabbing it on his crotch and essentially masturbating with this ripped out tongue. And
did you get the line?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Wait, when he's what he says when he's masturbating, or Oh wait, maybe I missed that one. What does he say there?
The part about the head.
Oh, go on. What is it? I've forgotten.
Yeah. It's not nice. Just to really explain how fucked this scene is, you have a 12-year-old kid having just ripped the tongue out of another, probably 12-year-old kid, then rubbing it on his crotch, masturbating with it, essentially. Then he says the line, "Head the hard way."
Head the hard way. Oh, here you go.
And I missed that line.
I mean, the scenario itself is fucked up enough, but then to put into a situation, you got the director directing these kids to do that.
Yeah.
His younger 12-year-old brother and
so
his mate,
fucked.
and he's like, yeah. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna say, "Head the hard way." They have no fucking idea what that means.
That actually. So I watched this thinking that one of those blood brothers was Mike Diana.
Right.
It makes it so much worse knowing that it was an older brother directing this. It's
He's
so
instigating
fucked.
all the gross child sex-infused blood shit. It's horrible.
That is fucked. But as this is happening, probably my favorite line in the film, the kid who's had his tongue ripped out is watching this happen, and he says, my tongue, oh my god, my tongue.
My tongue, oh my god, my tongue.
And that's also like a thing that happens over and over. People like having body parts ripped off and they're going, oh no, my insert body part there. Oh man, but that is like, it really takes a turn with that moment to something much worse.
Yeah, when you introduce that sexual aspect to it as
Yeah.
well. When I first saw
So
this, I was like, oh god, like
It's
oh, they
creepy.
really went there. Jesus.
Yeah, it's really, really disturbing.
Yeah.
And then they return to the kid that they've ripped the tongue out, and they start cutting out his eye.
Oh yeah.
And there's this really funny, like, repeated sound.
Right.
I think it's like the kid moaning and a sort of squelching sound. It's like repeating just over and over and over again. And yeah, that's it. They've popped his eye out and they're like, oh, let's get out of here.
Oh, that's what they say. Like, this is in broad daylight in the middle of the street, and they're like, someone might see us. Let's go. So they pick up their fucking massive pickaxe and run away.
That was something I thought about a lot watching this, how it's clearly just shot in the suburbs of Florida. So imagine seeing this scene play out, like seeing, you know, two 12-year-olds with another 12-year-old handcuffed to a pole.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird thing to just see.
in Florida.
Yeah.
When I first saw this, the next scene, I was really worried about where I was going, and I was like, "Oh, Dave is not gonna like this."
I got very pissed off at you for a moment.
I don't fucking make it.
but luckily it didn't go as horrible as it was going to be. Yeah, we just cut to like a dead cat, right?
Yeah.
Like an actual dead cat.
Yeah.
With one of the blood brothers just staring at it, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be some kind of like, you know, animal corpse mutilation sort of shit.
I was very worried it was going to go down that route.
But thankfully it doesn't. And it's just a weird moment in the film with them staring at this dead cat. And it's actually, I'm going to say, oddly affecting that moment. It's quite, it's very strange and surreal, and it flows quite nicely to the next thing that happens, which is absolutely fucking crazy. And very Florida as well.
Oh my god. So the next scene, so they're kind of just like standing around, right? Like, keep in mind, remember, they've just done a load of cocaine. And I think the cocaine
and
is...
murdered 2 children.
Yeah. But I think the drugs are like starting to take effect, essentially. So you have this weird like hallucination scene, seen through the eyes of Mike Diana's little brother, where he's looking at his mulleted mate, and he's there holding like a alligator skull, and he's just kind of like lifting it up and down,
Waving it.
like repeatedly, and like staring at him completely like with no expression on his face, just lifting up and down this alligator skull. And my dad's little brother is like, "You better cut that out," and he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then Mike Diana's brother goes, "That's it. I'm gonna kill you." and it says the best fucking line. It says, "Nobody waves the evil skull of death at me and gets away with it."
I wrote that down as well. That was amazing. That line.
Like, what the fuck is the evil skull of death?
I'll teach you to wave the evil skull of death at me.
Oh,
And
man.
you know, you do hear like Florida has a lot of gators, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that they had a skull lying around. It's like, we're gonna use this, and it's gonna be fucking a weird hallucination scene.
It's such a weird moment. Like it's sort of like the frantic energy that we've had kind of takes a pause for this weird hallucination kind of scene.
And the music
like
is
it.
beautifully paired to it as well.
Yeah,
It's that
yeah.
really psychedelic, lots of like bleeps and blobs going around.
It's actually genuinely quite well done.
Yeah.
Quite effective.
So Mike Diana's little brother chokes him out, basically, kills him. And then we get a very grotesque scene.
Also, this film is called Blood Brothers. The whole first part's really nailed home this Blood Brothers aspect. That's the end of the Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
As a duo. And we're like, 15 minutes into the film. I found that very funny. But yeah, so he's strangled his blood brother to death. And then just starts stabbing the dead body, right? And he opens up like a big wound in his guts, right? And he's just pulling out body parts.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. Like, he pulls out, did you catch what he pulled out something and put it aside, and it looked like a bottle or something.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
I didn't know what that was, but
At first, I was thinking, like, this has got to just be, like, guts from the local butcher.
Right,
But then like you said, it looks like a bottle. It looks like maybe he's tried to make some sort of organ in there or
it's very
something.
weird.
Yeah.
And then he starts, like, shoving his hand down towards the crotch area, and I was a bit worried at this point.
So you should be.
As to where this is going. And he rips something out and pulls it out, and I guess it's meant to be the dick.
It's his dick.
And balls.
Yeah.
That he's ripped off with his bare hands.
With his animalistic, cocaine-fueled strength.
Yeah, so he's like ripped off his blood brother's little dick. Fucking insane.
Again, we're talking about 12-year-old kids here.
Yeah,
We've got,
it's
like,
so fucked
one
up.
mutilating the other, then ripping off his dick.
Yeah.
And doesn't he, like, throw it up against the wall after that? He does. I swear, like, he takes
throw it onto the blood brother's face
Oh, yeah.
or something like I can't remember.
I think there's something else that he throws against the wall. Oh, that's a very, very bloody scene.
Very fucked up.
Very fucked up.
Oh boy. Yeah, so we've had that. He goes into a house, which is the same house
yeah.
that the kid that got his tongue ripped out went into. I'm pretty sure it's the same place. And then we cut to a woman driving a car, and I don't know if you know more about this, but surely that's Diana's mum.
It is.
Yeah, I fucking thought so. It looks exactly like Mike Diana, but with like a kind of fro.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sequence is kind of cool as well. She's like driving, and we're seeing through the window like these houses that she's going past, and they're like covered in like swastika graffiti and stuff. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with Florida?
The fuck's wrong with Florida? Yeah, but it seems like I was wondering like what her character was. I wonder if her character was supposed to be the mum of one of the kids who got murdered, because it seems like she's looking for someone.
Yeah, she's like looking around.
She's driving slowly, peering out around the window, and and
she stops in front of the house where the blood brother, Mike Dana's brother, is out the front, right? And she stops there, and he's kind of like hiding from her, right?
Yeah.
Like trying to avoid her. And she looks around for a bit, gets back into the car, and then he's like crawling around the car.
like stalking her,
And
essentially.
he's got a, what do you call it?
It's a scythe.
Yeah, he's got like this massive scythe. As he gets to, the front of the car, she leans out of the window and sees him and freaks out. Instead of getting back into the car, like pulling her head back in and moving off, she just sort of freezes there with her head hanging out while he very, very fucking slowly puts the scythe over her neck and extremely slowly cuts her head off.
Yeah. Oh, and you get that beautiful, like, mannequin heads dropping down to the ground from the car.
And honestly, like, knowing that that's the mum is so funny.
Yeah.
Imagine directing your little brother to chop off your mum's head. It's
so grim. It's so grim. I mean, that scene is very comedic, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very silly.
It's completely
We kind of
ridiculous.
go, like, we get one, like, really funny scene to one really fucked up scene, and we kind of bounce back and forth between that.
It's very much all over the place in terms of how fucked up it is. Yeah, this is a very goofy kind of moment.
Yeah.
And the head that is chopped off is very much like a mannequin head, right?
Yeah. So we've just seen Mike's mum get her head cut off, and then we get my favorite scene. This scene is just absolutely fucking golden.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could watch this on repeat. It is just so perfect.
I don't know if you know more about this scene as well.
I do.
Oh, good.
So
I'm excited to hear more about this.
So he breaks into someone's back garden, and there's a girl kind of just relaxing on like a garden lounger, just like sunbathing or something.
By far the worst actress.
Oh yeah.
In the film, in the best possible way.
Oh yeah.
She's just laughing from start to finish in this.
Also worth mentioning that she's a little bit older than the
Yeah.
rest of the cast we've seen so far.
Can I guess who she is?
You can.
Do you know who
I
she
do.
is? Okay. Is that Mike Diana's, I'm going to guess, sister?
It is, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Older sister?
I think so.
Maybe?
I don't know
yeah.
how, but
She looked a bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe 20 or something like that.
yeah. So she's there and kind of lounging around, and the blood brother, singular now, takes some rope and just starts like tying her up, basically.
Yeah,
and as you
very
said,
gently.
she's kind of just like laughing through it, and you probably guess like Mike Downer's behind the camera, like, no, stop fucking laughing, stop laughing.
I'm pretty sure I heard him laughing a few times behind the camera as well.
And then like. And then he grabs her by the hair and starts punching her in the stomach.
Yeah.
And she starts going, no, my baby, I'm pregnant, my
So
baby.
funny.
And I was like, oh, fucking hell, that took a dark turn.
Oh, and holy shit, where this goes.
And then
my God.
He goes, oh, that's good. Now I'm going to give you an abortion.
Yeah.
That's good. Now I'm gonna give you an abortion.
Yeah, he's so excited that she's pregnant. And all, like, just before we get into that absolutely fucked next bit, this whole scene had probably the most looking at the camera from both of these actors. And as you said, like, you can tell they're like, is that okay, Mike? Should I keep, come on, keep going.
Punch him more. Grab her hair.
And we should also stress the punching is so gentle.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like softly tapping at his sister.
Yeah. So he picks up a coat hanger off the floor, proper back garden coat hanger abortion style, and he fashions it into a shape and then just kind of starts thrusting it inside her, and you get like the blood spray from her legs
And
spraying all over him.
It sounds fucked, and like on paper it is, but you also have to picture this with him giggling while she's also giggling off camera.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Mike Diana's also laughing as he's filming it as well, as blood is like spraying everywhere.
Yeah. And then so he pulls out a fetus.
Oh my God.
And like with the tongue starts licking it.
Yes, it's like on the end of the coat.
Oh, yeah, it's
hanger,
like
this
hooked on, isn't it?
So
Ugh.
fucked. And yeah, like when he licks, that's probably, other than the tongue bit, the worst bit in the film, where he's licking this fucking fetus. And like, come on, mate. Like,
Come on, mate.
your mum's in this film. How did she allow this to happen?
Yeah. And then he starts licking it, and he throws the baby to the floor and stamps on it, and you get this pool of blood coming out this freshly aborted fetus.
So fucked.
And just
Utterly fucked.
to really emphasize how fucked this is, you've got the director directing his younger brother to perform an abortion on his older sister.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Whoever thought this was a good idea?
Oh my God.
And after, suffering this backyard abortion, she kind of gets her strength back, and she's all like, I'm gonna kill you now.
She's quite immediately all right.
Yeah.
She's like, bloody, like, why do you do that? Sort of thing. It's her attitude.
And then he says, "Oh, you're gonna kill me? Well, with what? That safety pin on your shirt? Ha ha!" So she has this little like tiny little safety pin on her shirt, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, fucking all right." Takes it off and just like repeatedly stabs him.
This is maybe after that kid at the start getting his hand all smashed up. This is probably my second favorite scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just goes for so fucking long, but it's so funny. I was pissing myself laughing watching this, where she's stabbing him over and over and over with this pin, but his screaming is hilarious. It's like some of the funniest like screaming I've ever heard in a film. This high-pitched screaming, and at one point it's like layered. There's like layered screams.
Yeah. I actually first thought it was her screaming because it's so shrill.
It's so shrill.
Yeah.
And then it cuts the close-up of him, right, where you see him screaming. And it's ridiculous. And I really can't stress how long this goes for. I didn't time it, but I swear it was like 5 minutes of the running time was this. It was so long.
Yeah.
And the bit after this is also, I think, something that elevates this.
Oh my god.
To another level of insanity that I did not expect.
No. This was like the icing on top of the cake.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. So she's murdered him.
Yeah.
And she picks up his body, drags him off sort of behind
It's like a doghouse, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, like a kennel. And then he walks out the other side, shirtless, in little brightly coloured shorts, and he's been reborn. And we've got all this sort of Jesus-sounding music.
Reincarnated as Jesus.
The music's like this kind of biblical-sounding music. He's got stigmata on his hands and on his feet, and he's even got like the cut in his
the ribs where the Jesus got stabbed by the
and it's fucking nuts. And like, this is maybe one other thing I knew about Mike Diana before this, is that he used to have to go to church a lot.
Right.
So I know that he has a lot of hang-ups about Catholics.
Right, okay.
And you really feel it in this scene. But
I just thought
like,
it was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, it's so good. And yeah, that for me, I was like, this is already great, but that is fucking brilliant. It's so absurd and amazing.
Yeah, and then so he gets reincarnated as Jesus, and he comes out within the Jesus pose, like, you know, showing his hands and feet, and the sister who's just stabbed him to death starts like praying at his feet, and she's like down, like kissing his feet, like praying to him, and then he pulls out a syringe, gives it to the girl,
filled with brown, so I'm sure
whatever,
it's like heroin or something.
Yeah, and which she injects, and then just starts immediately like freaking out, like flailing around, spasming out. And then we get another like, what the fuck is going on scene.
This is so hard to even describe what's happening. And I'm sure you'll know more about this, but my assumption of what we see next. So it's basically like a montage of madness, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that these are all clips from early
That's
Mike
exactly
Diana
right.
films,
Yeah.
Because we see his brother even younger, like maybe like he looks like 9 or 10. I'm pretty sure we see that kid who gets killed at the start looking very young as well. So yeah, that was, I assumed that this was all just sort of like a compilation of his other films.
So she starts freaking out, and we kind of fade into, essentially, like you said, like a 5-minute sequence of a man with like a sack on his head just killing a load of kids, basically ripping out their guts, stuffing them in washing machines, hammering them to death, and it's like just like scene after scene of child getting brutally killed, like eating their organs. One of them gets lawn-mowed to death. And I was watching it, I was like, hang on, this has nothing to do with anything that we've seen so far. It is completely irrelevant. So when I first watched this, I thought that the film ended with the girl like ODing.
Yeah.
And then we were watching like B-roll or just like some other short film or whatever that was included in this file that I had downloaded. And yeah, because there's no context to it. It's completely irrelevant. It's just gore. It's just a compilation of gore scenes. And it ends with the man with the bag on his head getting set on fire, right?
Yeah, there are so many moments in this that are great, though. So like the lawnmower bit that you mentioned, the washing machine bit is so fucked, because that's like a really young looking kid. It's so fucking freaky. But the bit that really stood out to me, so most of it's like this baghead guy killing people, but then there's also like a scene with the blood brother kid, so Mike Diana's brother, getting a TV smashed over his head, and then he takes the TV off his head and grabs an axe and sort of hunts down the other kid that did that to him, and axes that kid, and then pulls out the kid's heart, and then he's fucking licking the heart. I'm like, again with the licking the organs and body parts, it's so fucking weird. But and also, fuck, I totally forgot that bit where they're like huffing glue.
Oh yeah, that was
So
wild.
there's like
yeah.
another scene where it's like like very young looking kids like putting glue in a bag and like huffing glue. Oh, and it's just it's madness.
Yeah.
Another bit with like 3 kids like all holding rakes approaching another kid and they're just all like stabbing the kid.
It's very like burning kind of style, isn't it?
Another bit with like a kid on a chair getting like strangled from behind and then stabbed through the chair. Like it's fucking nuts. Oh, and the kid. Oh my god, the most insane bit. There's a kid getting cut in half.
Oh my god.
So there's like a bit with a kid getting pulled in half.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really impressive effect for a bunch of kids to make. And then like, you know, his guts getting eaten by whoever's done that to him. And then, as you said, it ends with like that insane kind of moment of this guy with a bag on his head getting a blowtorch shoved in his mouth and his head set on fire. Yeah. But that sounds very violent, but you've got to imagine this made by a bunch of kids. So it's truly ridiculous looking.
It is. But like I said, when I first watched it, I was like, hang on, this so the movie's finished and this is just some other stuff that was like lopped on the back of the file. But we actually cut back to the garden, and what we had just witnessed was the hallucination caused by the drugs from Jesus.
Yeah.
and then we just get that
drugs from Jesus.
And then she pulls out a razor blade and goes to cut her wrists.
Yeah.
And then end.
Yeah.
Credits.
And now you told me not to watch the end credits, so I didn't.
So yeah, that weird hallucination scene, as you guessed, these are all shots from his previous film called The Shed, which he made in '87,
Right.
and I looked up The Shed on Letterboxd and stuff, and there is something that comes up, and it doesn't say like who it's directed by. It doesn't say who is in it. It's not been watched by anyone.
Right.
It has literally no information on it, but all it does say is a group of friends is hunted by a vicious serial killer whose weapons of choice are everyday gardening tools. So we can assume that's it, but it doesn't even say like who it's directed by. But anyway, so all those that weird like hallucination stuff are just scenes from his other film.
Yeah,
he just cut his other film into this one. But another great little tidbit for you. The final little cherry on the top, if you will. So the absolutely fucked up one we just watched of the girl getting an abortion and then killing this kid who gets reincarnated as Jesus, praying to Jesus, and then being given the drugs by Jesus, which ends up killing her. The sister at the time was a heavy Christian. Right. And was like a regular churchgoer. Yeah. And she was really like on the fence of whether she should kind of be in this film. Actually, anyway, she did the role, but after was like she really regretted doing it because it goes against everything that Christianity preaches, right?
Sure.
Like it's so fucking morally wrong, and to be like worshipping her little brother who is essentially playing the role of Jesus now, who then gives her drugs and then a razor blade to kill herself with. I'm sure there was a lot of moral complications and confusions that she had to kind of overcome. But she talks about that in the documentary by Frank Henenlotter. And she said, I was happy in the long run, but at the time I was very confused.
Wow. That's nuts. So I guess his family must be quite religious then, I guess.
I don't even know about his family's religious stuff. I mean, like you said at the beginning, like he was brought up as a Christian. I don't know if they still are, but there are a couple of moments in the documentary where Mike Diana talks about how like he was kind of not beaten by his dad, but like, I think he called it hair pulling.
Right.
Yeah. So I wonder if he was brought up in a very like strict household, and
sure.
And I think that's probably he rebelled against that and ended up making these like crazy things.
But it's interesting though that his mum is in the film, so there's obviously a level of parental support for this absolutely fucked film.
So yeah,
pretty crazy.
It is. It is, and that's it. I mean, that's all we have. The end credits are written on post-it notes.
Yeah,
they're quite brilliant.
I saw a flash of them.
Yeah. But it's just this absolute fantastic time capsule, and like we said before, it's just so charming to look at because we both have been in that place where we've tried to make some like home movie with our mates when we were teenagers with a camera and just like with whatever means we had ready, and you kind of see yourself in there a little bit, you know. You kind of relate to what Mike was doing whilst he was making this. I did a similar thing when I was a teenager, but I would never have ever been able to do something as amazing or as gory as this.
Yeah. That's what makes this. Not only the gore, but like like what he's doing, like is insane. Like it's so fucked. It's so fucked in a way that, you know, I've never seen anything by a teenager that's this like horrendous. Like, you know, I made gory stuff when I was a teenager, when I was like 14, 15. But it was more just like, oh yeah, I'm making a slasher comedy kind of thing. It wasn't, you know, I didn't have abortions or like all that kind of fucking crazy shit. Yeah, it's really insane.
I think I did the same. My first like attempt was like for just like a shitty zombie film, because zombie films are like, you know, easily done cheaply, and I tried to get some nice like blood spray effects going on. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing, of course, and never did anything after that for, you know, well, with that particular project. I think I shot like a few scenes like, no, fuck this, I'm not good at this, I can give up immediately. But seeing what Mike Downer did with this and the level that he went to and the quality of the gore, I mean, we've spoken about how cheesy it is, but at the same time it's very impressive. Even getting like blood to spray can be tricky. And he was clearly just a one-man army, you know, gathering his friends and his brothers and sisters. Like, he was probably doing everything.
There was something in this that reminded me so much of my own first thing that I made. So I can't remember what scene, but there's a bit where someone is stabbing someone and blood's flying into the person's face, but it's flying in from the wrong angle. And it reminded me of like the first film I ever made when I was like, it must have been 14, something like that, 14 or 15 in the year 2000. I made like this really shitty slasher movie where I'm playing like a murderer. Brilliant. It's called Spleen. Might put some clips of it on the new Cat Sick Blues release, actually. But there's a bit where I'm like, I have a whippersnipper.
What's a whippersnipper?
It's like for, it's like a, how do you explain a whippersnipper? It's like for cutting down plants. Like trimming down plants.
Oh, is it got that like that bit of wire that spins around? Kind of thing?
Do you call it something else in the UK?
I don't know what we call it.
Whippersnipper in Australia. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. So there's a bit where I'm killing someone with that, and like I remember when we were filming it, because we're just like dumb kids. Like, you just stand off to the side and throw blood in my face. And then when you watch the film, it's just like this really obvious, like from the totally the wrong angle, this blood just getting thrown in my face. I think you even see like someone's hand come in.
Oh, brilliant.
But that like gave me flashbacks to filming that. So yeah, it does, even though it's really fucked. It does definitely bring back memories of making stuff back then.
Oh, totally good. I think because we have both gone on to make films to some degree and have both attempted to make films whilst we were a lot younger. You can totally see the charm of this film. And with that, like I'm just so glad this film exists. I love this film. It's just so pure, but at the same time, it's just so fucking wrong.
Yeah, it's a very interesting blend of that, of like it's got that kind of charm, but it's also one of the most fucked things I've seen in quite some time.
I'm really tempted to watch his other films now. Like,
I want to see that one you mentioned before,
Baked Baby Jesus.
I want to see that.
I think that's relatively easy to come by.
I read a review of that where someone mentioned you could get it from his website. I think it looks like it's really long though. It's like 2 hours or something.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this. I'm not sure, but I looked at the jacket, the DVD jacket art, and it might be the case where it's like a number of short films included on one, because it's kind of, there's like bullet points and different titles. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I could be completely misreading this, but I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, I want to check that out. And I guess he was a bit older when he made that, because that's from the early 90s.
Right.
So he would have already been an adult at that point.
I wonder if little brother is in it.
Yeah. Wonder if he still has a mullet.
Yeah. They're saying that little brother also appears in the documentary by
really?
Frank Canalotta, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's
How's he doing?
Yeah, he's
Actually,
still kicking.
On that documentary, what was your, like, after watching that, how did you feel about Mike Diana? Like, what kind of a person is he?
It's funny because he's there, like, you know, he does a lot of interviews and he talks to the camera a lot as well, and he comes across as a very gentle, keep to yourself, like,
right.
And he seems like he kind of struggles with words a little bit. Like, he's not this like anarchistic fucking go out and kill people, like cause as much chaos as possible kind of guy, but that you might get the image from watching his movies or reading his books. He's just a very humble, quiet man. And during the times of his trial as well, there was his girlfriend at the time, and she was saying like he would not hurt a fly. He is the nicest guy in the world. But everyone kind of saw him, that they essentially demonized him, you know. He's this rapist, he's this murderer, and it's like, he's not. He's just this very sweet man. And you get that from him when you hear him talk. Like, he is just a very sweet, softly spoken guy. But yeah, it does make you wonder where this imagery comes from.
But it's also, that's quite a good lesson in not judging people by the things that they make, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of people that make horror stuff, you know, most of them are quite nice people, I think, on the whole.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you look at someone like Woody Allen, who, you know, his films are, like, very gentle, kind films, and he's a fucking monster. So it is like, yeah, it's an interesting lesson in that as well. I think. Yeah. I
mean, it's easy to scapegoat the guy who makes fucked up movies. You know, they think, oh, he's a fucking serial killer, he's a pedo, or he's a whatever.
I was about to say, well, we've both experienced that, but then you've said the pedo thing.
Well, I can only speak for myself, Dave. So how did you get on with it?
Yeah, I mean, I really, really enjoyed watching this so much. Like, it's actually maybe my favorite thing that we've watched for the show so far. Just because, like, I love this kind of shit. Like, you know, this term gets thrown around a lot, but like the outsider art kind of thing. But this is so genuine, and it's as you said, pure. Yeah. And I fucking loved it. And I was so shocked by it as well, and I wasn't expecting to be that shocked.
Right.
But yeah, there were moments in this that absolutely threw me for a spin. So I watched it today, and yeah, I'm like, man, this is great. Isn't it? Yeah, no, I will definitely watch this again for sure.
Yeah. I watched it twice recently, and every time it was just like, oh man, this is gold.
Yeah.
So far, it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
like, it's so fucking wrong on camera, but you just can't help but love it.
But it's also like, one thing I thought that was interesting about watching this is it you can tell it's by an artist as well, because there are a lot of, you know, shot on video horror films from this time, and they're just fucking garbage. They're absolute, you know, artless shit.
Yeah.
And whereas this is like, you know, it's obviously a crude, obnoxious kind of film, but it feels like it's made by a truly passionate guy with like a lot of things going on in his mind, you know. Yeah, it was a really, really interesting watch. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Nice. So what are you going to give it?
How about you go first?
You know what? This might be a bit controversial.
No, but I think I might give the same as you.
But I'm going 10.
Yeah, me too.
Hey!
I decided that when I finished it, I'm like, fuck, is it a 10? I think it's a 10.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that there's shit in this that I have never seen before.
Right.
And especially the fact that it's like, knowing that he was directing his little brother, his sister, and his mother to do this fucked up shit. Man, it's insane.
Yeah.
This is nuts. So, yeah, the wrongometer, how fucked the film is, 100%. I've got to give this a 10.
Yeah, we did it. We did. I think that's our third 20.
Yeah. We've had quite a few where we've both given it a 10, but yeah, I've got to give it a 10.
I think for me, yeah, I was like debating about it, but after watching the documentary that Frank and Lotta did, and knowing that the sister was also a heavy Christian and an avid churchgoer, and then you kind of like. You put into the aspect the director directing his younger brother to perform an abortion on his older Christian sister, which goes against everything Christianity stands for. Like, there's so many like moral boundaries crossed here, and the tongue rubbing on the crotch and stuff.
I think for me, when that tongue scene happened, I'm like, I've got to give this a 10, no matter what happens after this. But then also that scene, and then the montage of like the scenes from that shed film.
He just put it in his other film.
Those scenes were really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that kid getting put in the washing machine and stuff. It's really disturbing. And I think because it is like actual kids, which you don't really see in horror films, it's very disturbing. So yeah.
Good stuff. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I had an absolute blast with this one.
Great time. And I'm really hanging out to watch that documentary. I was actually kind of frustrated because I really wanted to watch it.
Right.
But when we do this pod, I'm not allowed to look up anything.
No.
So I'm going to watch it as soon as we finish recording this, I think.
Nice. So, what we got in store next time?
I'm a little worried about next time.
Oh no.
It's a film that I've not watched in about 10 years.
Right.
And I don't remember anything about it. Okay. Except one scene.
Right.
So I'm basing my choice of this film is based on one single moment in the film.
Wow. Do you remember the rest of the film?
No.
Okay,
nothing.
Could be interesting.
So it could possibly not be a good choice for this podcast.
Right.
But I also really wanted to rewatch it.
Okay. So fine.
It felt like a good excuse to do it. Plus, it's only 88 minutes.
I'll be like a short one, don't we?
Yeah. So, with all that said, next week, we're going to be watching The Murder Secret.
I've heard of this, The Murder Secret.
1988. It's an Italian film.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna attempt to say the Italian. I'll do that next week. I'll embarrass myself with that. You might also know it as Lucio Fulci Presents The Murder Secret. It's not directed by Lucio Fulci.
Maybe that's why I know it then. Okay.
But I can promise you that you have seen scenes from this film.
Right.
But we'll find out why next time.
Is it like...
We'll find out next time.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for listening. Thanks so much. What should we tell people? How do people
find us on Twitter at SMSW podcast?
That's it.
I did it.
You did it. You got it.
Or leave us a memo.
Leave us a memo? Where can they leave us a memo?
At SMS podcast.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, so we've got a Twitter. We've also got an email, which people are finally starting to use as well.
Oh, yeah. Someone wrote us, didn't they?
Yeah, that was very nice. So, yeah, please feel free to send us an email at showmesomethingwrong@gmail.com. And please, most importantly, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I can't give you the full link for that. It's too long. Just Google it.
Just gotta find it yourselves, mate.
Just go to google.com.au. Type in Show Me Something Wrong podcast, Apple Podcasts. You'll find it there. But yeah, that would be very helpful if you could do that.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see you next time for... Did Do you remember
The
this?
Murder Secret,
got it.
presented by Lucio Fulci.
Blood Brothers forever, man.